What's God like?
Our God is holy, loving, understanding, and everywhere. Our God is judge in charge and live forever. He's always there. Our God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. What's He like? Let's hear you say it. Our God's truly great.
God is in control.
Hi boys and girls, I'm writing a story. Would you like to meet some of the characters in my story?
There's a man. His name is going to be David. There's a lady. I'm going to call her Catherine. There are some animals. And there are two children. And their names are Andy and Avril. The adults need some work to do, so I'm going to have David work in a shop. Catherine is going to work on a farm. The animals need to be looked after, so they can live on the farm and Catherine will look after them. The children need to learn, so they'll go to school. And every day at school, they're going to have ice cream. You see, boys and girls, I'm writing this story. I've made the characters so I can do whatever I want with them. I am completely in control of the whole story. And that is a very small picture of what God is like. Did you know that God made the whole world and everything and everyone in it? The Bible tells us that in heaven, God's people will say, "You are worthy, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honour and power, because you made everything. Everything existed and was made because you wanted it." It's God's world. He is completely in control. And we are all part of God's real life story. Everything we have is ours because God has given it to us. You see, God really cares about us. So He gives us everything we need. He writes the story, so He could do whatever He wanted. But He is a good, caring God, so He chooses to give us good things, like homes and family and school and food and toys. But most importantly of all, He has given us His Son, Jesus. Since God is a good, caring God who is completely in control, we can trust Him with absolutely everything. Sometimes it can be difficult to see how God is in control and to trust Him with tricky things, like if you get sick or if somebody you know is hurt. In those times, we need to remember all the good things that God has done for us. And we especially need to remember that He Himself came into our story when Jesus came to earth and died on the cross to forgive us. It doesn't mean that some things in life won't be difficult or painful, but it does mean that we can completely trust God because He is completely in control. Why don't we say a prayer now to ask God to help us to trust Him? Dear God, thank You that You are good and completely in control. Help us to trust You with the tricky things as well as the good things. Amen.
The Bible tells us that Jesus made everything. The fishes, the trees, the birds, and He even made you and me. Well, that means that Jesus is the boss. Jesus is the boss of the fishes in the sea. Jesus is the boss of the birds in the trees. Jesus is the boss of the apes and chimpanzees, and Jesus is the boss. Jesus is the boss of me. He says stand, I'll stand. He says walk, I'll walk. He says sing, I'll sing, la la la. I'll listen when he talks. Jesus is the boss of the fishes in the sea. Jesus is the boss of the birds in the trees. Jesus is the boss of the apes and chimpanzees, and Jesus is the boss. Jesus is the boss of me. He says stand, I'll stand. He says walk, I'll walk. He says sing, I'll sing, la la la. I'll listen when he talks. Jesus is the boss of the fishes in the sea. Jesus is the boss of the birds in the trees. Jesus is the boss of the apes and chimpanzees, and Jesus is the boss. Jesus is the boss. Jesus is the boss of